Hi, I'm Lily. Welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about the neuroscience of deep rest. And this topic is really close to my heart because when I was in college studying neuroscience, I was coming off of a period of pretty intense chronic stress and burnout. And I explored some of these deep rest practices in my own life and felt that they were really transformative for my own health and well-being. And I decided to focus my studies on exactly this. I wanted to know, I felt like there was this magic happening inside of me, and I wanted to know the neuroscience behind it. I wanted to know the mechanism. I wanted to know the why. So I did my senior thesis. It was called Addressing Chronic Stress, Activating the Healing Responses. And when I started to do my research, I realized that there was a lot of papers and a lot of research and a lot of conversations around the negative effects of chronic stress on the body and how chronic stress leads to chronic disease. And I felt like reading the literature, reading what was out there, it was super clear what the problem was. It was super clear why chronic stress is bad and how it affects us negatively. So where I really wanted to focus and where I felt was lacking is a discussion about the solution, which is really these healing processes that already exist within our body. And I felt like they weren't being talked about enough. And not only talking about them, but also discussing how we can support these processes. So that's what I did. And I'll tell you a little bit about what I wrote about, what I found, what I feel like is the kind of main takeaway. So our nervous system has a part of it that is responsible for the movements that we're consciously thinking about. For example, when I reach over to grab my notebook and I lift it up and I put it back, I'm thinking about these actions, and that's a certain part of our nervous system is responsible for making those actions happen. And then there's the actions that we do without needing to consciously think about them. For example, breathing and our heart pumping and digestion, and the list goes on and on. We have so many things that are happening within our bodies at all moments that we're not consciously controlling. And this part of the nervous system is called the autonomic nervous system. And there's a lot more nuance to this, but I find it useful to talk about it in this way, that the autonomic nervous system, we can think about having kind of two main modes that it can be in: sympathetic and parasympathetic. And sympathetic, you may have heard referred to as our fight or flight response. These are our stress systems, our systems that activate and allow us to face challenges and solve problems and do. And I think in the discussion of chronic stress, at times this system can kind of get a bad rap a little bit. But we need these systems, and these systems are amazing, and this mode that we have is so necessary for survival, and it's super important that we're able to activate our body in this way. And we're meant to live in a balance between this mode where we're activated and the other mode, which is the parasympathetic mode, or you may have heard it referred to as rest and digest. And in this mode, our body is able to activate all of its processes for restoration, for repair, for internal healing, because this other mode of activation is energetically costly, and it takes up resources, and it's harder on the body. And so we're made to kind of dance between these two of, okay, we're activating, we're using the resources, we're using the energy, we're kind of pushing our bodies a little bit. Okay, and then we go into this mode of deep restoration and repair, so that then we'll be able to go back and activate again without depleting the body's capacity, energy, resources. So it's really amazing the kind of the balance and the opposition and just how these two systems support each other. What we're running into in this world is that a lot of people's sympathetic systems, the system that is activating this, the stress systems, is being activated for a prolonged period of time without sufficient activation of our restorative mode, our restorative systems, our restorative processes. So that is what is leading to chronic stress, and eventually, when we're in this state of activation for long enough without adequate restoration, that's when we start to feel the burnout. That's when we start to feel depleted. That's when it leads to more disease or injury, or just an imbalance in the body, in the mind, in our life. So what I really like to focus on is not so much making the stress systems bad or the monster, or that we need to minimize this as much as we can, but more off, let's focus on how incredible these restorative systems that we have in our body are, and how we can activate these, and how we can support these systems to do what they know how to do, so that our body and our minds and our lives can come back into balance. And what I found is that the nervous system is always taking in the environment externally and internally. Whether we're consciously aware of it, it's always observing. And one question that this restorative process, this restorative system that has all these restorative processes is always asking is, am I safe enough to activate? So really, this system activates when the body perceives safety signals. So in my perspective, what we can do to support it is learn about how we can send signals of safety to our nervous system so that it can enter this state of restoration. And I'm going to make the next video that is completely about safety signals and different tools that you can explore to signal safety to your own body. So if you're interested, stay tuned for that, and thank you for being here and caring for your nervous system.